Hello everybody, it's Fufu here and I'm back for another Why We Need video, back with John. Sorry about missing last week. We just had an off week where we didn't manage to get a video out, but we're back in force this week. I'm going to be talking about new specific Pokemon Z-moves. We've seen Kommo-o get its new Clangorous Soulblaze Z-move, and in the light of that, I'm going to be thinking about what other Pokemon might get that, specifically everyone's favorite Mimikyu. So this is going to be a very exciting video, but John has got another video over on his channel to check out. So what are you going to be doing, John?
On my channel, we're going to be going over why we need new move tutors in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It's something that we definitely expect to see. It's very exciting. It would do a lot to change the game, but make sure you stay here first so we can tell you guys about Mimikyu's new Z-move.
That's right, that's going to be one awesome video, so make sure to check that one out, but we'll go right into this video now.
What we want is for the fan favorite Mimikyu to get an epic Z-move of its own. There's a lot of different Pokemon that have been getting Z-moves, and with Kommo-o getting its own signature Z-move, and that is the pseudo-legendary Pokemon for this generation, I could definitely see the fan favorite, which is definitely Mimikyu, or at least Mimikyu is a top 3 fan favorite, getting its own Z-move in this game. So many people want this to happen, us included, and it would be really cool.
So what's the evidence to say that this might happen? Well, first of all, Mimikyu is a very celebrated Pokemon from Alola. It's received so much attention and adoration from the fans and from the company. We've seen a Mimikyu song, it's featured heavily in the anime, and it's just everywhere at the moment. It's one of the poster boys for Pokemon Sun and Moon, so I really think that Mimikyu is going to stick around. It was one of the trial Pokemon as well, so it's got very high profile already, and we've seen Kommo-o get a signature Z-move, so I think that Mimikyu also is very high on that list. There's rumours that Mimikyu also may get another form. We've seen this in some of the leaked rumours before, people talking about other things in the game. It's also said that maybe Mimikyu would get another form, like when it reveals what's under the disguise. But maybe instead of that, what they saw was it using a specific Z-move or something like that. So instead of it getting another form, maybe it's actually a specific Z-move that that person saw in whatever material they claim to have seen. As I say, we've just seen Kommo-o get a new Z-move, and I think that Mimikyu must be high on that list, specifically because in the initial Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon reveal trailer, we see a Mimikyu cutscene, or a new animation, where it kind of jumps up in the air and you see its 2 little eyes light up under the disguise. And this could be a number of things. It could be maybe a new trial animation, or it could be just a cutscene, someone using a Mimikyu, but I think that actually what we could have witnessed there in that short section in the reveal trailer is maybe a clip from Mimikyu's new specific Z-move. It could be the case. We don't know. I don't know what else that clip could be, but I think that it's actually very highly likely that it could be a signature Z-move cutscene, but only time will tell.
It's really simple of how this could happen. All they have to do is come up with the Z-move name, which I don't have any idea. It's gonna be Mimikyu-inium, is it Mimic-ium Z, is it Mimic, UU, ZZ, McZ, I don't know. It's something along those lines. That's, people always say, how are they gonna do a Mega Yanmega? I don't know, it might sound silly, but that's not important. We just wanna see the awesome move. Now, where are we gonna get this move? I don't really know. I don't know if it's gonna be an event, just something you have to go to an event, or it's a mystery gift thing, or is it just something in the game? Maybe there's a new trial and it's something you get for the Mimikyu. It's all about the Mimikyu, that's the reward for it. Or maybe, you know, there's something you do after the game and you go and you have to find a Mimikyu and it has a Z crystal. I don't know exactly how they're going to do this, but it should be pretty simple to put into the game. All they gotta do is get the name and just figure out a place to go get it. I mean, there's a bunch of different signature Z moves. It's not like it's the most complicated thing, and it's definitely something we want to see.
So why would this be awesome? Well, I thought that the best way to think about this would be to think how the Z-move might work. We saw Kommo-o's Z-move and it looked insanely powerful. Not only did it look like a powerful dragon type attack, it hit both of the opponents, which is something that no other Z-move currently does, and also it gave Kommo-o an Uber Boost, which is basically +1 in all of its stats. And some other Pokemon can use Z-move where that's the only effect, that it only gives them that boost in all of their stats. But the fact that this does a powerful Z-move on both of the opponents makes me think that any new signature Z-moves are going to be extremely powerful. So John and I have come up with a couple of examples of how these might work that would really shift the battle in your favor, basically. So I'll talk about one way that it could happen, and John will talk about another. The one that I thought might happen will be, in the cutscene, we see Mimikyu jump up and you see its eyes light up. It's basically showing them that it's not a Pikachu, it's not pretending to be anything, it is a Mimikyu. So I think the first thing would be that its disguise would break after the Z-move. Now this is something we haven't seen in any previous Z-moves, we haven't seen any like negative effects, any recoil, any stat drops or anything like that. So this would be the first move where it would work like this, that there may be a negative effect on the Pokemon. But wait, it would be worth it. Because I think that this would be a very strong attack. It would deal ghost type damage and it would be really, really strong. So maybe 180 power to maybe even 200 power, maybe even more. We've seen higher power Z-moves before, so maybe this one could get that high. I'm not sure, but I think it would be really cool to see if it did get an extremely high base power. But not only that, I think that Mimikyu would also get some boosts. Maybe to its speed, because it's cast off its disguise that might slow it down, but also maybe to its attack stat, which is also already very good, but without the disguise, maybe it will be able to be a bit more ferocious. So it could be +1 stage, it could be +2 stages in speed and attack, meaning that Mimikyu would not need to set up with anything outside of this Z-move. That would be very powerful. As I say, it would break its disguise, it would then be very vulnerable to any priority, so it wouldn't necessarily be broken, but I think that this would be a really nice way to implement this Z-move. Mimikyu could have tons of the options in its move pool then to cover itself for other things, because it could have this one attack for the Z-move and then 3 other move slots, rather than having to rely on Sword Stance or anything like that. So as I say, this could be a very potent option for a Z-move, and I would love to see it.
Another option for a Z-move would be more status-based in our opinion, but I think it could be really cool. There's a lot of crazy Pokedex entries on Mimikyu, and kind of going more on the creepy side, this thing could really suck the life out of a Pokemon, simultaneously leaving a curse on it and healing the Mimikyu. Maybe it's jealous of the Pokemon and, you know, trainers having more adoration for it. Whatever the case may be, it could be really cool to see both of those effects and also add poison and confusion onto the Pokemon. It would be really crazy. You know, your Mimikyu is about to go down, goes all the way back up to full. Maybe that, you know, makes it so its disguise is now intact again. That might be a little too crazy, but it is an idea and an option, but also just making sure the opposing Pokemon cannot stay in, and if it does stay in, that thing is definitely going down. It'd be really cool. It'd be a lot different. I can't really think of a different Z-move that is anywhere similar to that, and I think that could be just a really cool option.
So those are our ideas of how this might happen, and I think that would really demonstrate how it could be so awesome. We could have a very powerful attacking Z-move which gives boosts, or we could have a really useful utility Z-move that can heal Mimikyu up, put it in a great position to maybe try and sweep again, because that's what most Mimikyus do. They try to sweep the opponent, so it could like put itself in a great position to get that sweep off. So I think those will really show how awesome this Z-move may be. In terms of how likely this is going to be, I think because we've seen the cutscene animation, because Mimikyu is so adored, I think that this is actually quite likely. We've seen already that Kommo-o is getting a signature Z-move. I can't think of any other Pokemon more likely than Mimikyu to get a signature Z-move. I really think that this is going to happen. So I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. As always, we're not going to give it any higher than that, because unless it's confirmed, we can't really say that it's a 10 out of 10. But I think this is a very likely change to occur, and I think that it will be really nice to see.
When we look at how cool this would be, it would be really cool, don't get me wrong, but it really can't be cooler than a lot of the different features we've talked about, because it is only about one Pokemon. But we decided to give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, people adore this thing, and it could completely change the game for Mimikyu. It could make this thing almost unstoppable in the right situation, depending on what this move did. It's already a really awesome and powerful Pokemon, and this could just put it over the top. So for anyone that likes Mimikyu, which is a lot of people who like Pokemon at this point, it would be very cool, but obviously it is only one Pokemon.
So that would give Mimikyu's signature Z-move a final score of 7.5 out of 10. That's going to be all for this video, guys. Please let me know what you think, and let me know how you think Mimikyu's signature Z-move might work, or if you think there are any other Pokemon that might get a signature Z-move. Please leave that in the comment section down below. As we said at the beginning of the video, there's a video on John's channel where he talks about move tutors in the new games. Some of the new Pokemon could get access to some very useful moves, so please go and check out John's video where we discuss all of that. But that's going to be all for today. I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.